no see. Haven't put up a video of a project in a long time because frankly haven't been doing many projects lately, but we're about to start a fun one, and I say we because it's really Michelle's project. I'm just helping her out this year. Last year for Halloween in our front yard, she had a big shipwreck with skeletons and just an awesome Halloween display, and she wanted octopus tentacles to come out of the ground for it. And so she made some with paper mache and chicken wire and painted them up, and they were spectacular. Insert photographs here. Kraken, I'm sorry, Kraken. Insert photographs of last year's display here. So as you can see, these things were awesome, and they were massive, and they were just a showstopper. People came by in their cars and got out to take pictures with them and everything else. The problem with them is we couldn't store them. They were so large in paper mache, we had nowhere to put them. And so we just trashed them after Halloween last year. They took her months to make. She spent over a month making these things. So
but they were paper mache. They got wet. They were going to mold. We knew this was going to happen. It was just throw it together real quick.
Right. So this year we're looking for a better way to do it. A way that'll be something we can store and use it year after year after year. I'm pitching in with some ideas. Michelle will do the bulk of the work, but hopefully with our brain power put together, we'll come up with a great way to do this. The original concept, and this is all make it up as we go, but we're starting with the idea of getting pink foam, building it up, shaping it into the tentacle shapes, and then supporting it where it needs it with PVC pipe and rebar to get it into the yard, and then at the end of the year slicing it in pieces that we'll then be able to put back together with PVC pipe in between the pieces. So that's the idea. How well it works? Well, let's find out. We're on our way to Home Depot to go get some pink foam.
Let's go.
The fact that this shares an edge here on the edge helps. We're maximizing it with this much of it doing it this way. I don't know if you can see me or not. I probably need to lean down to be seen. So we got all the pieces cut for the first tentacle. We are dripping sweat because it is, what's my thermometer say? Just shy of 100 degrees in my shop today here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's like 98 here in the shade in my shop. Over there in the sun, I bet it's 110. We're going to try to do a little bit of glue up here. Just going to spray some 3M 77 on the first three pieces, stack them up, put some weights on them, and let them sit for a little while, and then we'll come back and do the next one. So here we go for that. All right, so here's where we are with this. We've made this. We've glued this up. This is the rough shape. What we're going to do next is add a little motion to it. This is all moving in one plane. It's getting the shell. This is all moving in one plane this direction. We would like to add a little twist to it. So the plan is to cut it, make a cut here, and rotate the top a little bit so that this comes in, and we'll put a piece of PVC into the glue up there when we glue it back on to help give it a little strength and support. So that's what we're doing now.
You broke my kraken.
I cracked the kraken.
Get in there, baby. Could you just...
We're going to have a big gap to fill. quite get that perfect, but I kind of knew I wouldn't. That was a tall ask to think you're going to get that perfect. I see what you're laughing at. That's not funny.
Can you just kind of stroke it a little bit? There you go.
Nasty girl.
I'll step back here.
You're nasty. You're nasty. Alright, we're going to have to fill this crack, but I think that works, and that adds so much motion to it. Nicely done.
Nicely done. Did you really just drill those holes so that you could camp it?
Yep. That's exactly what I did, but good. So we're going to put wood glue on there. So, by the way, we fiddled with the pipe a little bit to get this to sit a little more flush so there's not such a big gap. Instead of using the spray glue on this, we're going to go ahead and use wood glue, which is a little bit stronger, but harder to shape. When we go to shape around it, we'll have to deal with that, but it's just on this connection where we'll have to do that. Otherwise, I think we're in good shape. I think this is going to work.
Did you get some down in the hole?
I did. Poured a bunch of it down in the hole.
Get it nice and wet in there.
Oh, you are filthy today, and I like it. Rawr, rawr. Nasty girl. Let's get cracking. There. Maybe on here. Come on.
That doesn't have the twist to it though. Oh, it does. Okay. Dope.
Here. Come on, baby, you can squeeze tighter than that. By George, I believe that's going to work. Sure would like it if that were tighter a little bit, but these little clamps just aren't made for a lot of pressure. Oh, and it's pulling up there, so that's as tight as we're going to go. It's pretty good, actually. I think that's... Yeah, so there'll be some gaps here around the outer edges a little bit, but even that's not bad. But those are all going to get shaped off anyway. It's that center that we care about, and I think we got that pretty good. So, we'll let that dry, and then we can start shaping this thing. Okay, so as I'm setting this up, I'm realizing that the 3M Super 77 glue might not have been the best choice, because I'm finding all kinds of spots where it's not holding, where they're coming apart like this. Now it is still tacky. It's possible that they just didn't get pressed well enough at the time. So I think I'm going to first clamp the bejesus out of this and see if we can't get that glue to grab now. Maybe reactivate it with a quick spray even. Although it shouldn't need it. I don't know. I'm going to clamp the heck out of this thing. Hope that it will grab. And if it won't, it'll be... we'll have to take a moment to think about a better way to glue it up. A better glue to use. And it's not an easy choice because when we go to start grinding this and shaping it, we need a glue that grinds and shapes along with it, not tears out in chunks. So, anyway, that's the challenge at the moment that I am pondering on, and we'll see what solution we come up with after we try clamping it. Alright, so I've clamped it up to see if we can't get that spray adhesive still to grab. It's been a while since we sprayed it, but it did seem like when I pushed them together nice and tight that it would still grab. So this is what we're just going to try first. We'll clamp it and see. In hindsight, we should have been clamping it as we glued it up. That would have been the smart thing to do instead of just putting some weights on it and calling it good. But hey, you know, we're figuring this out as we go. So either this will work or it won't, and if it doesn't, we'll figure out something else. So it looks like clamping that up for a while worked. It looks like it's holding together pretty nice. We may find that it comes apart while we're shaping it, and if so, we'll deal with it then. Okay, so here's the plan now. It's time to start shaping this thing. Some of our glue joints may let loose and we'll deal with it when it happens. This gap is not going to be much fun, but we'll fill that later. Basically, we're just going to round all these edges to either make it legitimately round or at least give the appearance of round. We've got this, and we've got this saw, and this Sure Foam shaver, which is a beautiful little tool. And we're doing it on the other half of the garage on this side because it's going to make one hell of a mess. And that's it. We're going to get started. Okay, so here's where we are. This was a lot of work, and I know the time-lapse film stopped on us and I didn't realize, but here's what we did. We used the paint removal tool there on the drill, and we shaped this thing down kind of like she's working on this one right here. We shaped this all the way to the rough shape, and, you know, very close to the final shape. And then we used the this guy, the whatever the heck is it called, the Sure Foam shaver thing, and shaved to get it smoothed down to kind of just smooth out these contours a little bit. There's some cracks and whatnot in here that I'm going to fill with joint compound. Overall, we're going to leave it alone though. Michelle says she likes this texture and she wants this texture for the final thing, and I understand why. It's got a very living feel about it. If we wanted it perfectly smooth, we could do that. We were going to put a thin layer, or just rub a thin layer of joint compound all over it, and then sand that down. So we're not doing that. We're going to leave this texture. I'm going to fill the cracks and whatnot with joint compound, smooth those out. Like here's a good chunk right there. You see we're going to clean that up, and the hole from where we clamped it, stuff like that. Cracks where the wood glue shows. Going to try to get a crack down here, I see. Look at that. But we're going to clean that stuff up with joint compound just to try to hide it the best we can. And from there, Shell will be taking over for all the painting and whatnot. Yay! Okay, so we made that one very nicely. So what do you say we make another one? Yay, let's do that. Learned our lesson last time. We are clamping it up this time as we put it together. And this is our stopping point for today. It is glued up, clamped up. Come tomorrow, be ready for shaping. This is what we call a BAKA. Big ass kraken arm.
Still 106 degrees.
And it's still 106 degrees in the shop. Oh my gosh.
No, just in general.
Oh, 106 outside. What's it in the shop? Like 102 or something? Yeah. It's nothing like sweating while you work. All right. Okay, so we are liking the new second kraken leg, the ginormous one. Getting it down into shape. while we've been working on this simultaneously, Michelle's been putting more work in on the first cracking leg, adding the suction cup things. How'd you glue those on, baby? Gorilla glue?
I use cold glue, like a hot glue, but the not so hot glue.
Okay, the not so hot glue.
Not so hot glue.
She's got them all on there, the suction cups of the cracking legs, and she'll do the same for this guy. I got to get on this guy with some joint compound, fill the cracks and even some stuff out. But we're making real progress and very excited about it. Looking good. So here's Shell applying just some white paint, just extra white paint that we had laying around in the garage, acting as a primer. So it's just a first coat, and of course it's a lot of work to put that first coat in because all the nooks and crannies and all the texture that's on there. But coats afterwards go a lot faster and a lot easier, such as this first little bit of color that she has started to put on this one. It's coming together. It's coming together. Say it's coming together, Shell.
It's coming together, Shell.
Nice.
And we're going to use that leftover paint from the bowling lane from the backyard to put on the outside of those, I think.
A little splash of red that I put on there for the back edge. Yeah. I see it. I see it coming. Looking good. Looking real good. Okay, so while I've been traveling, Michelle has finished painting these and put some polyurethane on to protect them. And now I'm going to work on getting them put up in the yard. My original idea, or my current idea I guess I should say, although I'm not sold on it completely, is to use these 1-inch PVC pipes. I'm going to send them way up into here as far as I can, probably get it about that far, and then into the ground as far as I can. But this thing is big enough that I'm not certain this will be enough support. But this is where we're going to start. I'll probably cut some V's into the top of there so it'll go into the ground easier. I got a long drill bit extension. We'll cut the hole for these up into this smaller than quite a bit smaller actually, than the 1-inch pipe, because it will tear out a bit as it cuts, but also because I want a really snug tight fit there, since that's really all that's going to hold these. Man, I hope this is going to be enough support. I'm just not convinced. I may need a much heavier pipe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's try it and see. One way to find out. So I'm just putting this into the ground as deep as I can, but no deeper than that line. Not that I'll come anywhere close to it. Then we'll drill and cut off the top and put it on there and pray. So that's what we're doing. Big fun. It's the triple extension bit to get up into this thing as far as I can. It's just a 7/8 inch bit here. And the fear is that it gets way up in there and then disconnects and I can't get my bit back out. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. Here goes everything. Now for the tricky part, hoping we don't lose the bit inside. Yay! I think. We'll see. Again, we keep sending everything. I don't know. It's mighty big for this pole. That is a snug fit, for sure.
That's what she said.
It might be too snug. No?
Hug it, baby.
Snug. We may need to open that hole up a little bit more.
Hang on it.
I know I want that tight fit, but I might need to widen the hole. Come on! Can't tell. That's a mighty big tentacle. Okay, we've been at this for a little while now, and we are still making progress. It goes down a little bit every time I do it. As long as we keep going down, we'll get there eventually. Keep marking my spot to make sure we're actually making progress. Catch my breath, and then go again. This is better than CrossFit.
I'm not sure it's going any further now.
What?
I'm not sure it's going any further now.
It is.
Okay.
I'm going to pass my mark.
All right.
So my concern is the hole I drilled. Well, my first concern is I'm going to faint. My second concern is the hole I drilled only went a little bit past the depth that the pipe is. So all the crumbs and whatnot are getting packed up in there, and they may no longer have anywhere to go. So that's why I keep checking that I'm making progress. Very concerned at some point it just won't be possible. And then we'll figure it out from there. But holy smokes, it's a workout. Oh, ouch. Damn. I keep thinking when we get to that last little bit, it'll just pop on. That's not happening. It's gonna keep getting harder all the way. Okay, first all the bits of good news. Good news one, I did not faint. Although it was touch and go, I'm not gonna lie. Good news, bit number two, it's all the way in the ground. We got it all the way, yay. Good news number three, I think it's plenty secure. I think the worst that's gonna happen is it's gonna wobble in the wind a little bit maybe. But honestly, that's cool. It'll look like it's wiggling. Now the bit of bad news. Putting that PVC shaft up in there and having the hole be small for it to make it nice and snug resulted in something that I'm embarrassed to say I never even considered for a second, and that is that the PVC pipe became a wedge. It acted like a wedge, and this thing split. Yeah, all the way down. Pieces of foam board came apart. That sucks. But it's not the end of the world. It's in here, it's secure. We're gonna come in with our joint compound, patch that all up, let it dry, and some paint, you know, repaint over it, and we'll be good as new. As long as that split doesn't continue to split over time, which it might. It might. We'll see. All right, let's take a look here. I got it. There's Shell. Hi, Shell. Hi. So I put some joint compound on here. You know, if I'd had some expanding Gorilla Glue in the shop, I would have shot some into those cracks just to let it expand on in there and add a little security from future cracking, but I didn't, and I was too lazy to run out to Ace, so just did this. And, you know, live and learn. I like to, you know, when we do these videos, I like to think of them, and these are not how-to videos, these are how-I videos. And they're not how-to, they're how-I. And every time we go into a new project, I make the best decisions that I can, and sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's so-so, sometimes it's an utter failure. But at the end of every project, there's always a little more knowledge to take to the next project. And that's how we have fun. That's our catch-as-catch-can method of learning. So, lessons learned as we go to put the next tentacle in, which is not nearly as large as this one. And honestly, mostly I'm pretty happy with the method. I will drill that hole for the PVC pipe to go up into a little bit larger. I will put a point on the top of the PVC pipe for going up in there as well to help shove it up in there. And yeah, I mean, I think those are my only true mistakes here on getting this in, because this, if you look, if we give this someone bumps it, weebles wobble, but they don't fall down, and it'll wiggle in the wind a little bit, which it's actually already doing. And other than that, wiggling in the wind may open that crack up a little more, or, you know, which we'll deal with it if it does. I think it's going to be pretty good. So there you are. By the way, look at Michelle's. I don't know if she filmed any of this earlier. Here's some of her decorations that we're building around here. It's the pirate ship, and the monkey, and the up in the, what do they call the baskets up at the top of the mast? They're called oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think what they're called. I know what they're called. I know what it is. Oh my gosh.
Monkey's like gonna jump. He's on there now.
Here's your mermaid schedule. There's a second tentacle waiting to try to make me faint. There's the dude with his dynamite. This is so awesome. She did such a great job on this stuff. There's this guy with the harmonica and the banjo. I'm not quite sure what's going on back here other than that guy's getting his drink on.
Yeah, that guy was supposed to be fighting, but I didn't get him together. Like, I needed some PVC stand and some steel to get him situated, because I'm going to fight with another guy, but
Well,
that's not going to happen this year.
yeah, well, that's the thing. Every year we add a little more, make some adjustments, and honestly, we'll add a little more, I'm sure, this year too. We've got, today is October 1st, by the way, and so we got 4 weeks of just goofing around with this thing. Okay, just taking one last look at this before we call it finished. There's a couple other details Michelle's going to put out here yet, but these turned out really nice, right? So we filled the gap with joint compound best we could, touched up the paint, recognizing that it was definitely going to split some more. I went ahead and put, let's see if we can see if I get closer, I put zip ties around here just to give it a little extra, just a little extra security, kind of just shore that up a little bit from splitting, and the touch-up paint around it hides it well enough. And yeah, overall a successful project. So that was fun. Hope you enjoyed watching us make it, watch us figure it out as we went, and most of all, I hope you have a happy Halloween. Crow's nest. It's called a crow's nest.